Good afternoon, everyone. You guys have this chat thing down to a science. That's great. This is Debbie again. You're back to me. I'm going to move the chat out of the way for just a minute. I'll pull it back over if there's more chat. Thanks, Daniel. Go ahead and go into Counterpoint. And I'm assuming, well, I'm not sure. Yesterday, I want to go through just a little bit of the end of day before we get started on a new day, because I'm not sure if Russ went through that yesterday or not. I can't recall what's on the basic point of sale list. So if I go to point of sale and I go to drawers, you have lots of options here. You can count the drawer at the end of the day if you want to, have all of the cashiers maybe count their drawer. This would be a blind count. So if I go in here, it wants to know who I am, because some people may not be allowed to count the drawers, what store I'm working in, and what drawer I want to count. So I'm going to take drawer 1, and I'm going to click on count. So that he must have closed out the day. Let me see if there are any other drawers that are still open. Okay. And I want to just check this. Okay. And we're going to try one more drawer, because I know he did use this one yesterday, but it may be done as well. Oh, it's not. Okay. So here for my drawers, I only am telling it to count the cash and the checks. You can have the cashiers count whatever pay types you want, you need. Some people have them count gift certificates if they're using gift certificates, but if you're using gift cards, it would be a little difficult to count those, because you give it back to the customer if they haven't used the whole thing. So right here, I'm going to put in a dollar amount for cash. I don't know how much should be in here, because this is a blind count. But I do have to put something in for each of the pay codes that's listed here. So for checks, I'm just going to say $50 on that. So this is showing what my total would be, and I can say OK, and it says, do you wish to close the drawer? And that will allow someone else to activate that drawer if I want them to. Maybe you have 2 shifts of people, the morning shift and the afternoon shift, so you might be using the same drawer. So the morning shift takes all their money out of the drawer and then counts it, and then someone else needs to activate it as soon as they're finished counting. So we can close the drawer. Now, you don't have to do the blind count. It's up to you how you want your people to do it. It's entirely up to you. So if I don't do a count, I might want to do a reconcile. This is kind of like a second count of that drawer, but it shows you how much you started with for the day, how much you counted on the blind count. If you didn't count anything, it'll show zeros. The amount that the system expects in those different areas. So here it's expecting $200 because I did $100 worth of sales, and I should have my $100 of activation. Here it's saying I didn't do anything in checks, but I put this $50 in here. Maybe it was a check, but the cashier hit cash instead of the check button. So it might have just been done a little differently there. So I'm going to, up here under amount reconciled, I'm going to put 150. And I'm going to come down here to the check, and I'm going to put 50. And when I hit enter, it says I'm not over or short, but the amounts in my pay codes are different. So I'm going to say OK here, and it closed the drawer again. It asks that. So you might just reconcile your drawers at the end of the day. You don't have to do either one of these things if you don't want to, but it is recommended to do one or the other just to balance your drawer at the end of the day before going any further. Now you can do a drawer reading, which is going to show you what was reconciled and what is expected and so forth. So I'm going to say this store and this drawer is all I want to see. I don't care about the session. I want the drawer totals. So I'm going to preview this. Now this is prior to posting the day. So this drawer reading is only going to give me what has not been posted yet. And I haven't posted this drawer tickets yet, so it's showing me all of this. So over on the left-hand side, we have sales, returns. In the middle, we have gift cards that were sold, stored value cards, which those go through the processor. I don't have too many people using stored value cards. It's kind of an expensive way of doing gift cards. Miscellaneous charges would be shipping charges, that sort of thing. Tax, so whatever was sold was apparently non-taxable. And if we did cash drops or cash loans, so here's my total of non-merchandise. Here's my total of sales. And over here it talks about the tender. So here it shows me how much was on AR charges. Here's my American Express. Here's my cash. I started with $100. Transaction amount, which means what the computer thinks I should have, was $100. This removed column is either what was counted or what was reconciled. If you do both, it's the amount that was in the reconciliation. So here it shows 150. So over here it says I'm short by $50 in my cash. But down here under checks, my tendered was 0, but I counted 50. So I'm over by 50 here. So this would trigger me to say, oh, somebody hit the wrong button. They chose cash when it was really a check. And then credit cards, I have just a basic credit card, and then I have them split out, Discover, MasterCard, Visa. So you can do that either way. You can have a generic credit card payment type, or you can have it separated. And I like the separated because then if your total of your credit cards is not correct at the end of the day, you can see which credit card is off. Hopefully it's only one. But that way you see each type of credit card and what it should have been. So this is giving you your totals and so forth. And we're not over or short because it comes out here. Okay, any questions about this part of it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. Will our credit card machine be integrated? I'm assuming that you're going to have probably Ingenico ISC 250s, I believe they are, and those are integrated. We'll have to get you set up on credit card processing. We have to have what's called VAR sheets for each store. Because each store will probably have a different merchant number. And then we set all that up, and we do testing for each store as well, just to make sure that the credit cards are going through properly. So, yes, you can have them integrated. We also have companies that have standalone credit card machines that don't integrate with Counterpoint. They're just at the registers, and they're set beside the register. And at that point, we would set up your credit cards as a pay type of check so that it's still being kept track of, but it's not going to try to authorize. Okay. All right, I'm going to close this. I'm finished with the drawer reading. I'm actually finished with the drawer. So I can go back one screen, and now it's time to post my tickets. You won't even have this credit card option anymore because what we set you up on is called Secure Pay, and it's not settled through Counterpoint anymore. We're going to go to tickets, and we have an edit list here so we can look at the totals and all the tickets that went through and any detailed information that we want to. Now, one thing I do recommend is if you have your tickets posting automatically at night, every morning you need to come in and run an edit list for the day before. And let me show you how that's done. So here you would say yesterday's date. And what it's going to do, it's going to show you on here anything that was not posted from yesterday. Because every once in a while, the automated posting might not go through. There might have been a hiccup in connections. There might have been a password change. There are a lot of reasons that could cause the auto posting not to go through. So it's imperative that you check the next morning so that you can post those if you need to. So you would do a cutoff date of yesterday. You don't have to look at the items that were sold. You may or may not want to show payment details. Typically, if you're just looking to see if everything posted, you don't need any detailed information. So then you would preview it, and if there's anything on it, those are tickets that did not get posted. So on these particular tickets, these are the ones that were rung up yesterday on station number 2, because I have not posted yesterday's stuff yet. I just closed the drawers. I didn't post the tickets. So we can go out of here, and everything looks good. It's yesterday's stuff that I'm posting, so that's why it had something on it. If you're doing auto posting at night, when you come in and run this ticket edit list the next day for yesterday's tickets, it should be blank. It should have no tickets on it at all. I'm going to close this edit list, and I'm going to post. So I'm posting the main store. I probably want to post all drawers that were used yesterday. And I always check mark this used ticket date because those tickets are from yesterday and I want them to post as of yesterday. So down here I click post. It lets you know if there were any errors, and it wants to know if I want to view the ticket journal. So I can say yes here, and I can look at it, or I can print it, and it just gives me the information about the ticket, what was sold, how they paid, and so forth. Here's a drawer summary journal, which is the same thing as that drawer reading. So you may or may not want to look at that. Go ahead and get out of here. And here it says that there was one drawer session, and it was posted. And we have a question. Let it go. So would the charges not reconcile if it didn't post? No, the charge, like the charge cards, the settlement still happens, even if the tickets were not posted. The settlement is going to happen anyway. I'm going to move that back over here, and it tells me that Zero had some problems. So this is strictly for internal accounting. It is balancing at the end of the day, making sure that your drawer has the right amount in it is under the drawer area, and posting pretty much sets everything in stone. It's going to change your quantities that you have available. It's going to set the dollar amounts that you took in, the sales amounts that items that were sold, how many were sold. When you post your tickets, it creates history for your reports. Things don't show up in some of the reports for your sales until you post. So we always recommend posting every day. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Inventory doesn't update until end of day after posting. Correct. Correct. Inventory is not going to reflect those sales until you post, except, let me go back to main menu and inventory, and I'm going to look at an item. Because, okay, your quantity on hand and your quantity available could be different. If you have tickets right now that have this item on it, this quantity available is going to be less because you have open tickets, tickets that have not posted yet. So the quantity available is going to include any of these that are committed somewhere, might be committed to an order. They might be committed on a ticket. So that's where that number is going to change. Okay, we're going to go back to point of sale. Okay, so that was the end of day, just to kind of clear up yesterday's things. Now, normally we're going to go back to starting the day. And yesterday, Russ probably showed you how to go into drawers and how to go to activate those drawers. There is another way to activate those drawers that's a little quicker. Some people choose to do it this way. Some people choose to not allow it to be activated this way. So in order to do that, I'm going to tickets. I'm pretending it's first thing in the morning. And I'm going to use the touch screen. You can choose to use ticket entry or touch screen, but right now I'm going to use touch screen. And it wants to know who I am, because once I get into the point of sale area, there may be things that I'm not allowed to do. That's part of the security. You know, I might not be allowed to do returns. Or if I am allowed to do returns, I might have a limit of the amount I'm allowed to do a return on. I may have to get a manager's approval to return anything that's maybe over $100, something like that. And that's all under the setup of security. So I'm going to say I'm the manager. I'm working in the main store. Now this looks at what store I'm working in by my my group, my work group that I put in when I first log in is pointing to this store. So if you have your users set up for the correct work group, it's going to automatically know what store they work at. You might have floaters that go to different stores, and at that point they would change their work group, but you might have that limited to only the people that go to the different stores. And then it wants to know what station I'm working with. I'm going to go ahead and do a lookup, and I'm going to choose Station 1. And I'm going to say I'm using Drawer 1 as well. You can do a lookup here if you want to. You can also have this default according to the computer that I'm on. I can say OK here. And it lets me know the drawer is inactive. Do you want to activate it? If I don't activate it somehow, it's not going to let me in point of sale. Reading my mind? Okay, I like to read minds. every once in a while I have this little crystal ball here that tells me what you're thinking. Sometimes it doesn't work very well, but, you know, once in a while. If I click on Activate Drawer, it's going to ask me how much cash I have in that drawer. If I click on Auto Activate, it's going to open the drawer with 0 cash. So yesterday you went through this Activate drawer where you could just type in a dollar amount, or you could go to the Count Cash Units, and I'm going to cancel out of here, and we're back to this area. You cannot change the Auto Activate amount that I know of. I'm going to make a note and see if there's a table somewhere that we could change that. Auto Activate. Just the way it is right now, you can't, but I'm going to see if there's somewhere that we could set it within a table. Okay. Don't worry, be happy, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say okay on this again, and I'm going to auto-activate the drawer. Okay. All right, so this is my touch screen. You probably saw a little bit of this yesterday, and we're going to talk about a few other things. I'm going to actually start a ticket. This has the cash customer here, and maybe I want to choose a different customer. So you can have a button. It can be here or over here. You create these buttons the way you want them to be, because different stores might need different buttons as well. So you could set these buttons to be how each store needs it, or even each station, because you might have a computer by the grooming department. So you might want that computer to have different buttons on it for your grooming merchandise. But at the front, it could be anything that they're paying for, so that touch screen might need to be a little different. I'm going to choose a customer, and I can do a lookup right here. And I'm just going to choose this one and say OK. And I'm going to say OK again. And I have mine set to let me know if the customer has orders that haven't been picked up. I don't want to process them now, so I can say no. Now I've got my customer set, so now I can purchase some merchandise. So I'm going to just do a lookup here. You might have barcoded items, so you'd scan the barcode. I don't have a scanner. So I'm going to say that this customer is purchasing this item. And maybe they're buying some golf balls. Maybe this golf ball, this dozen golf balls, is missing one or two. So I'm going to do a price override on this one. My screen has changed. To get back to the area that that's in, I want to click on my home button. It'll take me right back here. And I happen to know that my price override is located under discount. So I click on that button, and I have a whole bunch of buttons here. Notice I've highlighted this line. I just clicked on it to highlight it. And notice this line is in green. That means it's a sale item. You're going to see this change for different functions. I also add this line type to my screen so that I can see what it is. I don't want to rely on the colors. In order to change what's across the top, all I have to do is come over to this little empty box over here. And if I click here, it takes me to the column designer. This is what is listed in my columns right now. And over here on the left are all the things that I could have listed if I wanted to. You notice there's limited space across here, so you don't want to get too crazy. So we can have pretty much what we want to see on there. I'm going to just go ahead and click OK because this is really what I want to see. Now I'm going to do a price override of a dollar amount. We have a price override. We also have a percent override. So I'm going to click on that one, and it comes in with the main price one of what I normally sell this for. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to sell it to this person. Well, yeah, $2,500, but that's quite a discount. So I'm going to sell it to him for $25. And I'm just going to say it was a manager override that was the reason. And here it lets me know, I did this price one discount column. It lets me know how much I'm discounting off of that. And this column says how much the customer is paying for it. So down at the bottom of the screen, it shows what the item comes to, a document discount, which I did a price override. So that's not considered a discount. It's a change of the price for just this one customer. It gives me a subtotal, then it tells me how much in tax is on this. Miscellaneous charges, that would be like freight charges, shipping charges, that sort of thing. And then down here is my total due. This is the total of this ticket, and this is what's left that's due on this ticket. So now I want to take payment. I go to my payment area, and it brings up a whole screen of different types of payments I might want to take. So maybe this customer is giving part of their payment with a Visa card. And he says, I want to put $500 on my Visa. So I say, okay. And I have mine set up as a check, asking for all this different stuff that you won't be asking for. And a lot of information that you just really don't need. Okay. All right, so they gave me $500 on a Visa card. Now they still owe $727.33, and they're going to give me cash for the rest of it. You can take as many different pay codes as you want to on a ticket. So they may also have, let's say, a gift card. So you could take a gift card on this as well if you want to. I'm going to take the rest of it in cash, and he's giving me exact amount. He's giving me the .33 cents and everything. So I'm going to say pay ticket balance. It'll assume the exact amount. Take a second Visa. Let's test that. It's letting me know that it's all simulated. Okay. We're going to do another one and see if we can take more than one of the same type of credit card. And I'm going to go to my pay code. I think I'm sitting too close to the screen. Okay, I'm going to do a MasterCard for $300. Okay. Because none of that really matters. And then I'm going to do another MasterCard. And we're going to say $500. It let me on this, since I have them set up as checks, I'd really rather test it on my machine to be certain. I know that it didn't used to allow us to take multiple of the same credit card, but I believe that has changed. So I will test it. So I'm making a note, and when we're all finished here, I'll go test it on an actual credit card system. Okay, and then I'm going to take the rest in cash on this one. And it's letting me know that this was a demo. I'm going to say okay. Okay. And I really believe the answer to that question is yes. But like I said before, I don't like to just say that until I've actually seen it happen. Okay, we're going to do another ticket. I'm creating some tickets for other functions that I'm going to show you in a minute. So here I'm going to do this. And there is one other thing I want to do, a different type of item. Oops. All right, so I'm going to take payment for this, and I'm actually going to take cash for the whole thing. What? No, I'm not. I want to give a discount on this line here. So I'm going to go to my home screen, and I'm going to go to my discount page, and I could do a $1 discount, or I can do a % discount. Let's just do a little % discount here. And notice it says line discount, so it's specific to this line. And we're going to give them 10% off. I'm going to say OK. So it discounted it by 10%. I have a dollar amount here, so this isn't the same type of discount. So I actually need another column to show that discount %. All right, so now I'm going to take money for this. And I'm going to take cash, and maybe it's $987.54, so let's say he gave me $1,000. I put my period in. I don't have to put the ending zeros. And here it tells me this is how much is in change, how much I need to give them back in change. And it gives me the ticket number, and I can print a ticket receipt or a gift receipt, or I can email this. And it depends on how many forms you have as to how many blocks are showing up here, because you might have an invoice as well, that you might, a full page invoice that goes to maybe a laser printer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this because I don't have any printers set up. So I'm going to close that. And we're going to do another little type of discount. I know some of this gets very tedious as I go through this. Okay, so these are the items this customer is buying, but we might also have a senior discount. Maybe this person is a senior citizen, and they get 10% off of their entire ticket. So I'm going to click this button, and it automatically calculated 10%, and it put it down here, because this is over the whole document. Okay, so now they owe me this. I'm going to go ahead and choose this cash button, and I'm going to say they gave me $45. And I owe them $2.83 in change, and I can print whatever form I want to. So that was considered a document discount. Now let's say we're purchasing, I don't know, an item that for a customer that has an AR account. Do this. Sort descending. I want something expensive. Okay, we're going to do this one. Okay. Now this person has an AR account, but I have my cash customer up here. So even after I have my items listed, I can choose my customer, and it will change it on the whole thing. Let me just find one. That one. Now, I have an automated note on this customer. So what that means is this customer note, the ID on it says auto, A-U-T-O. And every time I choose that customer, it's going to show me that note. And I can close that. It might be something that, you know, he needs to see the accounts receivable department before he's allowed to charge anything else, something like that. So we could close that. And I've got the right customer on this now, and this is the total amount, and he wants it put on his AR account. So we want to go to our pay codes, and we should have one that says AR. So I click AR. The whole amount is going to his AR account. If he were paying part of it in cash and part of it on his AR account, we could do that too. We could say how much is going to the AR account or how much is going to cash, whichever, whatever one you choose first. I'm going to let the whole amount go to AR. Okay, I have a question. What about a customer who is getting a 10% but may also be purchasing a sale item at 50%? Okay, and let's go to this next one as well. I'm putting an auto note on my account. Watch out for this guy. Yeah, you got to watch out for them. The 10% on an item that's getting a sale, this 10%, this is document discount, is going to go on everything that's on this ticket, even if it's an item that is already on sale. So you want to be kind of careful how you do your discounts. I have a lot of people that don't want the buttons to do discounts, or they don't want ticket discounts, they want item discounts. So it's kind of tricky, and that's one of the other reasons that I put the discount stuff up here, because I want to see which items get discounts before I've even discounted it down here. All right, now we're going to talk just a little bit about some returns. So if I click on my return button, it changes my line color and it changes my line type. Now, if I just come over here and choose an item, let's say this one, and it's that, and mine is set up to ask for a reason for the returns. You can have it ask for a reason or not ask for a reason. It's up to you. So what is it doing here is it's returning the whole amount. Now, of course, if they have their receipt, you're going to see what they paid for it. But if you take returns without a receipt, do you make it the amount that the item was? Do you take a discount off of it or restocking fee, something like that? You might need to rethink this information. Now, I'm going to void this. Actually, I wanted to void the whole ticket, this one. Yeah, I'm voiding this ticket. Now, the return type that I like better is this validated return. And let me show you how we do a validated return. Now, you can have your receipts have a barcode at the bottom of it, so you can scan that barcode right here and it would look up that document. But I don't, so I'm going to do a lookup. I can filter by the date, by all kinds of things here to see what I want, but I'm just going to click on Find Tickets, and I know mine's going to be at the top of the list. So what I'm going to do, I believe it was this one that I did a document discount on. So I'm going to say, okay, give me that list. And this shows me the different items that were on that. But I did a document discount. So I discounted the whole thing. Watch what happens. I'm going to say we're returning this one, and see it shows you the quantity they bought, how many are available to return. And since I already checked that box over here, it assumed they're returning the one that they purchased. So there's no more to be returned. Then I can do a reason, and I say, okay, this is the standard price, but this is what they paid for it. So it took that document discount and calculated what would be this item. So if I would have done a document discount of a dollar amount, it would have calculated the percentage that that would be. I did a document discount of 10%, so it knew to take 10% off the whole thing. But this guarantees that you're only giving them back what they paid for the item. Granted, you have to find the sale, but you have a lot of filters. You can filter by the customer. You can filter by the store. You can do all of those combinations together if you want to. You can even look for just that one item and when it was sold in the last week or so. Okay, so now I give them cash back, exact amount, and I can print a receipt. Do you have any questions about the validated return? Those are really handy. I love those validated returns. Okay, we're going to create an order now. And we're going to just go through the order process, but there is another class that goes in more detail about the orders. So in order to do that, I have to go to my order functions. Now, some people have their order functions under this More button. I happen to have it right here. So you can put it where you need it. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say Make an Order. Notice it changed my line color, and it changed my line type. So now I can choose an item to put on that order. Okay, so this is an item that's on this order. Maybe I want to put another item on the order. Now, these are the items the customer is putting on the order. I may have it in stock. I may be ordering it from the vendor, but this customer is on the phone telling me this is what he wants to get. Or he might be in the store telling me this is what I want to get, and I'm going to pick it up tomorrow after work. You could put it on a layaway if you want to. Layaways work the same way as orders do. So this is an order, and now I'm going to take payment from this customer. And I'm going to, what I want to do is make this order go to a specific customer. So I'm going to, before I complete this, I'm going to find a customer that I want it to go to. That's the one I want it to go to, and I click OK. Now, I have my system set up that if it's an order, it asks for shipping information. This is where I'm shipping it to. If this is not where they want it shipped to, I can look up a ship to address, but I can also add a ship to address for this customer. So this customer has bought from me before, and this is his default address. But this is his mom's address because he's purchased merchandise and had it sent to his mom before. So I can choose that address for it to ship to. And I say, okay. And again, I have my watch out for this guy. And now I want to take his payment. It may be a deposit of a percentage of the whole thing, or you may require the full payment for it up front. It's up to you how you want to do that. Now, let's say this is an AR customer. So we can choose AR, but I'm taking 0 today. I want to take this pay ticket balance off. I'm taking 0 today because it's going to go to his AR account. To make it go, the whole amount go to his AR account, when I release this order, when I ship this order, if I check this final payment box, the system will automatically put it on his AR account when I do a release of this order. So if I'm only releasing one of the items on this order, only that amount is going to go to his AR account. Then when I release the second item on the order, that amount will go to his AR account. So I'm going to say OK here. So it says AR 0. I'm going to complete this. It wants to know what else I want to do with this. It doesn't know. The system doesn't know. Do I want to create a line that's a sale, that it's going out the door? Do I want to create some other type of document? Or am I done? So to tell it I'm done, I click on Complete. And I can print an order form if I want to. Let's see if this is set to an actual order form. The other day I did one and it wasn't. This is set to a quote. That's not what we want. Here's a picking ticket. So it doesn't show any dollar amount. And no, I didn't get an order form. An order form just looks pretty much like an invoice. It shows all the items that are on the order, and it lets them know what will be due at the end. I'm going to close that. Now, I'm going to do, a customer comes in and wants to pay on their AR account at the register. So if you're going to allow that to happen, we can do something called Pay on Account. I'm going to see if it's under my payments. I'm not seeing it here. So under my More buttons, I'm going to go to Customer Function, and there's my Pay on Account. Now you can put the button wherever you want it. So here it comes up and asks me who the customer is. I just hit Enter instead of Tab, so it yelled at me. It thought I was done. So here I said who the customer is. This shows me what their balance is. Now it wants to know how they're paying. Are they paying with Visa, MasterCard, check, cash? What is it? So I'm going to say they're paying me with cash today. And I can apply it to a specific document, one of their older invoices if I want to. I can apply it to open, which means this payment will just show up all on its own, not applied to anything in particular. Or I can auto-apply it. Auto-applying it will make it go to the oldest document and move forward. So if the payment is enough to apply to 2 or 3 different documents, it will do that. It will pay off the oldest first and move forward as far as it can go. Now, if I'm applying it to a specific document, I can find that document with this lookup button, and these are all his documents. I want to apply it automatically, and here's my dollar amount. And I can type in any reference note that I want to put in here. I'm just going to go ahead and say OK, and it created a receipt for that payment. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's really good. There's nothing on it. There's the real receipt. And it's showing that it was auto-applied and who the customer was and how much they gave me. We do a lot of testing on this system. That's why some of my forms aren't coming up the way they should. because we just create a lot of test things on this system. Okay. There are some things that you may limit who can do in point of sale, but there is something called adding a customer on the fly. So if I do a lookup and I'm looking up customers and I don't see them in here, I could add a new customer right now by clicking on this Add button. Anybody who's not allowed to add, this button would be grayed out. So here it's just asking me information about the customer. If it's a cash customer or an AR, if it's a business or a person, and the blue fields are required. And maybe that's all I need to get, so I can save it. Okay. Now there's also a way to add an item on the fly as well. So if I click on the little magnifying glass up here where the items are, and I don't find the item in my list, of course I would type in my keyword. Let's say it's looking for something with that in the description anywhere. Then it gives me those items. I don't see it anywhere. I could add an item right here. Another thing about when you're looking up an item, there's something called zoom. Are the fields defaulting? Let's see. Are the fields defaulting from the template item customer entry? Yes, they are. There is a template item and there is a template customer. You can have a different template item and customer for each store. So your template customer at one store may not be the same as another store because on that customer information, it has a store and a tax code and things like that. So you might want to have that store set for each store and a different template for each store. Okay, this is a zoom over here, and it's anywhere you see the little Z in a circle, that's the zoom as well. I'm going to show you the zoom from right here. What's nice about the zoom is you can see quantities from each store, what they have available. Unless you have it set to only show their store. But this is nice because you could, you know, if you're out of something and they're wanting more, or they picked up the last one, they want to know if the store that's on the other side of town has the same thing, you could look and see. It says they have this many. I'll call over there and have them hold 10 of them for you. That's always nice. You want to look at the quantity available column because there might be some on an order, a customer's order, or there could be some on a ticket that hasn't posted yet. So this is nice about the zoom. Also, you have information up here about the item, and you can change this information up here if you want to by coming to Options and Customize. And over here are all the different fields that you could see up there if you wanted to. And this is what's showing up right now. I'm going to go ahead and click OK here because you also have these boxes down here. Recent sales will show you, I believe it's set for the last 100 tickets for this item. Vendor items. So if you have a vendor item record, you can say, you know, these are the 2 vendors that I purchased this item from. Open purchase orders. So if you are waiting to receive merchandise, you're going to have it on an open purchase order, and you'll be able to see where they are. Monthly history, depending on what you want to see. This is showing me sales, dollar amount. I can look at quantities that were sold in each location. Mine is showing each location You don't have to have yours show each location. So there's a lot of information under the Zoom, and it's the same with customers. There's a lot of information under the Zoom on the customer that you may need while you're in point of sale at the spur of the moment. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to say OK here. And let me check my list to make sure I've covered what I need to cover. And all right, so I'm going to void this ticket because there's a couple of other functions that I really need to show you. That customer that created that order now maybe is coming back and wanting to pick up his order. So I can either choose the customer first, or I can go to my order functions and say process an order. So I'm going to process an order, and it pops up with the last order. You can do a lookup and find the correct order if you want to. Notice it has the customer's name here. I want that one that I just did. You can edit this order. That'll let you add more items on it. Maybe they called up and said, you know what, I need to add a couple more of these. You can edit the order because you forgot to put shipping on it. So maybe you want to go in and add your shipping charges. You can, if they paid with cash or gave you a deposit and they still owe you money on it, you can take another deposit on it. You can cancel the order if you want to. When you cancel the order, it's going to ask you how much of the deposit you want to refund, because you may keep some of that deposit. Some people do, some people don't. Or you can refund some of that deposit. Maybe they took an item off of their order. You can print a picking ticket. You can print another order form. You can release this order, which means they're taking it. They're going to take it out the door with them, or it's being shipped right now. This copy release is like a standing order. It's going to be the same thing every time. We have one customer that comes in every month and wants the exact same stuff, and he wants it shipped. So you could do a copy release, and what that does is it copies this existing order, but it releases this one, and that copy sits out there waiting to be released. So you don't have to keep entering those same items every time. I'm going to release this order. And I have mine set up to warn me if I have not printed a picking ticket. That's okay. So these are the two items that I'm going to send out, and they're still in blue. So it still thinks it's an order. I have to change it to a sale. The way I can do that is clicking this complete button. What happens when you copy release for an order with a balance that is not AR? It just copies the items that are on that order. It doesn't copy any payment. It's not going to copy the payment information. At the time that you release it, then you would put it to their AR or however they're paying for it. Okay, so here I am. I'm ready to complete this order, basically. So I'm going to click Complete. And what this does is it recaps what is on that order. And if I'm releasing the whole thing, if I'm not, it'll show me what's being left on the order. It's just a recap of it. And it shows that I still owe $884.34 on this, or the customer does. I'm going to click OK and watch what happens. Now it's a sale because it's green. But look down here. It shows my whole amount as the payment, and 0 is due. That's what happens when you mark that final payment on an order. And I recommend only using that mostly for AR accounts. because if they still owe something on an order and they paid their deposit on a credit card, they may be wanting to use a different credit card when you release it, things like that. So you kind of want to think about that a little bit. Okay, so now I can hit complete again and I'm finished with this sale. Or I could add more items to this sale. He came in to pick it up and he wanted something else. You could add items to it if you want to. I'm going to complete it. It finishes it. Let's see if I have a receipt that looks normal. Okay, this is a receipt that would print on a receipt printer. When you get all of your equipment set up or part of your equipment set up and you're going through training and testing, you want to look at those receipts and make sure they print properly on your printers. So if you're doing an invoice to a laser printer, print one out and see what it looks like. You're doing a receipt to a receipt printer, print one out, make sure it lines up okay and looks fine, and make sure that the information at the top shows correctly. So that way, if you need any changes to it, we'll know ahead of time. We don't want to make those changes the very last day or right when you're going live. I'm going to go ahead and close this. I have mine set up to show on the screen rather than to print. You can have it print automatically when it completes the ticket, or you can have it so that the clerk has to hit one of these buttons. That. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do another order. So we're going to go into Functions, Order, and this is an order again. I'm going to choose my customer. You can do that before or after. It doesn't matter. I'm going to choose this customer. Now we pick the item. And maybe I want to pick another item. And notice I have mine set to warn me when I'm selling an item that my quantities don't look normal. There's 0 quantity on this one. I want to go ahead and override it. Okay. And I'm going to take cash as a deposit. And down here, I can have it say what my minimum deposit needs to be. If I have a minimum that they have to pay, it'll come up down here. I'm going to say they're giving me $500 going towards the order. I could have items on here that are a sale item, so it's going out the door. The order items are not leaving my premises. But I'm going to just go ahead and let that go all to the order, and I'm going to say OK. I'm not marking final payment or anything. Say OK. It shows $500 in cash was given to me, and I'm going to complete this order. I'm not shipping it. They're coming to pick it up, so I can say OK there. Now I can print my order form. I can print my receipt for the cash amount if I want to. It'll show that they paid me cash. I'm going to close that. Now let's say I'm releasing part of that order. So I want to go to my order functions. I want to process an order. I can print a picking ticket if I want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to go to release, and that's okay. Now let's say I don't want to release this first item. It hasn't come in yet. I'm sending out this item. So I can say I want to unselect that line. Notice when I hover over it, it says unselect a line to leave it on the order. So I'm unselecting it. Look at the color over here. It changed a little bit. Now I'm going to complete this. It recaps the deposit. It splits it up so that some of it's staying on the order, giving my subtotals, and this will be my amount due when I'm completing it. I click OK, and down at the bottom for today, what I'm releasing today, this is the amount that's still due. So I have to take payment for it. I'm going to take cash for that. And I'm going to say he's giving me $320. Okay. And I can print my receipt. But notice it shows my original $500, the $320 today. This is still what's due on the rest of the order. I'm going to close that. Now, if I go back to order functions, that's finished, that's completed. If I go back to order functions and process order, notice over here, it still has this one on order. This one is fully shipped. So it lets me know that's the only item left on this to ship. I'm going to close this. I'm not going to do that one. You're going to go over that a lot more. I think tomorrow is that class. I'm not real sure. Now I'm going to show you one function in Counterpoint point of sale that you probably will want to limit who can do this. I've made a sale, but the customer maybe hasn't left the store, and they decided, I don't want that, or something is wrong and they don't want what you sold them. So to void that ticket, because it's completed, it doesn't show up on your screen. We have to go to more buttons. We can go to ticket functions, and there's one called void old ticket. Now this will only show up until you post your tickets at the end of the day. So I'm going to click on void old ticket. I'm going to choose what ticket I'm voiding. Let's choose this one. Okay. And it shows you in the background what was on that ticket. And I can say void this ticket. Mine has it asking for a reason for that void. And then I can print a void receipt. Now you want to be careful who can void old tickets. I'll give you a horror story. We've had clients that the cashiers knew, when a customer paid in cash, they would give the customer their receipt and they would walk away, and they would put the money in their pocket and void the old ticket. So there are reports, though, that will show you voided tickets. However, you might want the voiding of an old ticket to only be allowed to be done, say, by a manager or a supervisor. I just caution everybody about that. Okay. Do you have any questions about this part so far? Pretty basic, pretty much standard. Can you do a validated return against a ticket that hasn't posted? You can do a validated return against a ticket that hasn't posted, but if they paid with a credit card, the credit card has to be settled, or it won't know what credit card it goes back to. However, you can still do it. You can still do the return and use the credit card that they have in their hand. But if the original was put on a credit card, it's not going to take it off properly because it doesn't know. Okay. Let's see. Something else I wanted to cover. Looking through my list. I have to have a list for everything or I'll forget. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of point of sale. We're back here to point of sale tickets. If I go back one screen, we have our drawers again. So if I go into drawers, I could count or I could reconcile. Some people just print the reading. So I want my main store. and I was working on drawer 1. I'm going to preview it. Some people just run this, and they might print it to put it with their money for the day, or they might just want to look it over to balance from. And that's up to you. And notice I have cash, I have AR charges, and here I have a Visa, and here's my MasterCard totals. So these are my totals, just a basic summary. I'm going to close that. And I could just reconcile if I want to. I don't have to. I'll show you what happens when you don't do the count or the reconcile. Also, one more thing. If your drawers didn't post yesterday, your tickets, and today they've already opened up for today, and you want to post those tickets from yesterday, you can do it one drawer at a time under this. We're still under point of sale drawers, under management. This is going to list all the drawers for this store and whether they're active or not. So you could click on the one that you want to post, and you could come over here and post it. And that will do one drawer at a time. And it shows you when it was activated, when it was begun. So that way you can do just that for yesterday. If you post from the main posting of tickets, even though you say use ticket date, it's going to post today's stuff too. So you don't want to do that if you're finding out after you've opened that some things didn't post yesterday. We're going to close that. I'm going to go back one screen. We're going to go into tickets. Every once in a while, you'll get an error when posting, or when you come in the next day and you see things didn't post. You need to find out why it didn't post. So if you run the edit list, and I'm just going to let it go to the end of time. It's just going to show me what has not posted yet. You could print the line items if you want to. You can show payment detail. What I like to do on this is print pay code recap, because then at the bottom of it, it shows you your different pay codes. Okay, so I'm going to preview this. Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay. So it's showing me all the tickets that were rung up. And if I go to the very last page by clicking on this right arrow with the line after it, it recaps my pay codes that were done on all my drawers for the store. But also what's going to happen is in the body here, if a ticket had an error on it, something was wrong with that ticket, it will show you in the body what the error was. Now, sometimes it doesn't make sense because it's telling you about a specific table, and the tables are different language, basically, is what it looks like to me. But you can come up to this little binoculars, and when it says find what, you look for the word error. And when you hit enter, it'll take you to that error. Now, it's telling me it didn't find any because I don't have any errors on mine. Some errors that happen might be somebody had a wrong date on their computer, on their point of sale computer. Maybe it was 2 years ago for some reason. And it wouldn't post that ticket because of the date of the ticket. Another thing that might happen is a tax code could get deleted. So, or an item could get deleted. I don't recommend deleting anything when the store is open, because you might be deleting an item that's on a ticket somewhere. It might be a non-inventory item, but it's on a ticket. So you don't want to delete it. Okay. Go ahead and get out of the edit list, and then we want to post again. And I'm just going to say all drawers. I'm going to say use ticket date, and I want to post. And see, I didn't count and I didn't reconcile, but I'm set up so that I can auto count and auto reconcile. And again, that's part of your setup, whether or not you want it to be allowed to auto count and reconcile. We can say yes, it goes through any drawers that were there. It says processing completed with no errors, and I can look at the journal if I want to. If it said there were any errors, that's when you want to go back to the edit list and take a look at what those errors were. My drawer summary journal again, and then I can get out of there. And out of there. Now there is something, an option called offline ticket entry. So if your computers can't connect to the server, they act as standalone computers. They have a current copy of the database on them. So what you would do is there would be another icon that said maybe Counterpoint offline because you don't have a connection to your server. That would happen like if the internet was down at one site or another. And what happens then, as soon as you're back online, it will update the server with those tickets that were rung up in offline mode. So you'll have, in that case, you'll have a second icon. We typically only put offline on computers that are point-of-sale computers. Now, John is asking, how often is the local data updated? I believe the default is every 15 minutes. It could be different, but I'm pretty sure it's every 15 minutes. And whoever sets up your offline, if you have purchased offline, whoever sets up your offline can let you know exactly how many minutes it is, but I'm pretty sure it's 15. Probably Eric would be the one that would know that because he usually sets it up. All right. One more thing I want to go over in here, and we're almost done for today. I want to talk just a little bit about some of the reports here. Under point of sale, we have these options, and I showed you under drawers, you could get a drawer summary. Under tickets, you could get an edit list. But once you have posted all those tickets for the day, they're no longer located there. Then they're under reports. And they might be under history, or they could be under journals, whichever you choose to go to. Under journals, let's say we're looking at drawer summary, it's going to require that I choose an event number. So when I posted, it created an event number for this drawer. Notice there are more than one posting of the ticket. So you could say, okay, that's the one you want, and you could preview it. And it's going to give you just what was on that journal at the time of posting, that drawer summary. Close that. I'm going to go back to history, though. We're still under point of sale reports. And if I go to history and drawer history, I have a lot more options here. I can choose an event number if I want to, but I don't have to. Maybe I want to see store main, all drawers. I don't want anything specific about the drawer. Maybe I just want store totals. This is something that possibly your accountant would want. Wants to see the whole store and the whole store's totals. You could even say all stores and say print store totals, and it'll give you totals for each store. Then under the event, it wants to know the date range. So maybe I want to see the totals from Sunday through today for that store. and I can preview this, and it gives me a summary of all that. So if I want to see how my sales are doing, I could do that for the whole store. Gives me my order deposits received and applied. When you do the applied, that's from releasing the orders. So it just gives me a general idea of all of this information for my whole store. You could also come back here and specify one drawer, or maybe you want drawer totals as well. So now if I preview it, it's going to show me my different drawers. See, here's drawer 1, here's drawer 2, and then this gives me my totals for the store. And it's all on one report. That's what's nice about the history reports. You can answer a lot more questions here and get just specifically what you want. I close that, and I'm going to go out of history. You have the same thing for your ticket history, so you can get a list of all the tickets that were done for a particular day or for a particular drawer. We also have orders. So if we look at what orders we have, we can go into orders, and maybe you want to see what items are on those orders. Maybe you want to see the payment information. If you have serialized items, you would want to see the serial number information. If I go to the order tab, I might want to see the date that that order was entered. I want to see all the orders that were entered during this time period. I can also come down here to document status and see only the open ones, only the completed ones, or any that were canceled, or just give me anything. I can preview that, and it shows me the order that was entered that day. Okay. Some of the other things that you might want to look at. Here we've got point of sale exceptions. This is prior to posting, so there shouldn't be anything on it since I did post. We can get the exceptions by user. We can do a certain date range. We can select the columns that we want to see. So if we want to see all the times that were there was a no sale done, that means they opened the drawer. Let's see. Maybe I want to see all voids. I can do price overrides, anything there. And then you preview it, and I have nothing because I posted. That puts it into a different area once you post. So I can get out of here. And the same thing with price exceptions. You can see the price overrides and so forth. Now, once you've posted, those things go back to the main menu, and they're under sales history. So I can go to sales history, report, and I can see my price exceptions. I can see my voids, tax exceptions. Maybe I want item detail, and I can come to my void history, what the ticket date was. Can we see hourly sales? You can. You can see hourly sales. Okay, here's my void. Now, you do have something called a dashboard here. Once your data is in there is when it creates this dashboard history. So you have to kind of let it build up to today's stuff, and then the dashboard will show you various information. I'm not sure my dashboard is going to work. Probably not. Oh, here it comes. Notice mine is back pretty far because I haven't had it updating. But I can look at today's information, the number of tickets, total sales, average items per ticket, average ticket, discount percentages, and so forth. There's a lot of information here. Will we, oh wait one second, let me get this over here where I can see it. We'll be able to see all locations. You will. So let's see, I want to go by company. See what company shows me. Doesn't give me much of anything, unfortunately. For a period, let's see what that says. Week to date, month to date. Store. So here's my main store, and if I had other stores, they would be listed here as well. And various information about those stores. I could look at a particular product if I wanted to, or a vendor. So the dashboard is pretty filtered in security. The dashboard, if you allow someone to have the dashboard, they're going to see all of this. This part wouldn't be where you'd filter it. Reports would be where you'd filter it, because I want to show you some things. What you can get on the dashboard, you can also get in reports, because you have reports in point of sale that are prior to posting. We can remove the button. Yeah, you can remove the button. Actually, dashboard has to be installed on the workstation that needs to look at it. So that's something that would have to be installed specifically on your computer. Going astray, that's okay. That's all right. We want to get all of your questions answered, and a lot of these rely on other things. But under sales history reports, this is after posting. Typically, you're going to have it post at night, and in the morning when you come in, you're going to be looking at yesterday's stuff. You can look at today's stuff if you want to very easily, even without the dashboard. That would be under point of sale reports. However, after posting, and you're going to see excuse me, this in more detail during the reports training, but I'm going to go into this one called by group, because you were specifically asking about hourly sales. So I'm going to leave this as the wide column, but I'm going to say group by, and we're going to come down to sales to history. This is looking at sales. And we go by hour. And I can say, you know, my date range, maybe, oh, wait a minute, let's do today. So it's going to do my hourly sales for today. We can do all stores if we want to, or we can select one store. I can select my columns that I want to see on that. I want to see my total sales. Maybe I don't care about profit. I want number of tickets. I don't want dollar rounding or quantity rounding. Maybe I want quantity sold. I don't know. Just various information that you might. Number of tickets is going to be important for knowing how to schedule. Okay, so let me preview this. And it gives me the different hours. Now, I said all stores, and I only had one store open. I'm not sure. I think I'd probably have to do this for each store because I didn't see an option for separating it by store. But this tells me this was ranked number 1. Between 2 and 3 p.m., can reports be set up to auto-generate an email daily? I have heard that they can. I have never done it before. Let me make a note. I'll check into that. I have heard somebody say that they thought they could, so I will I will check to be certain. But this gives you your total sales, the number of tickets, and the quantity of items sold. This one, here's your sales, number of tickets, and quantity sold. So you know what your busiest times of the day are. These are the only time periods that we did any sales. This by group report is very dynamic because you can do so many different things. I said top 10. I want all. Let's do that. And I'm going to come over here to the ticket history. Let's choose month, day. And let's do year to date. And I want to preview this. So here it shows me January 25th, how many sales I had, how many tickets, quantity sold, and so forth. These are the only dates that I had sales. So it's skipping the ones that I wasn't even open. And it gives me, this is kind of nice because then you know when you're busy, when you're busiest. Also, if I can find it, I think, day of the week. And I'm doing it for year to date. So this shows me which day of the week I am the busiest. That way I know how to create my schedule. I know which stores are busier on Saturday than maybe there's another one that's busiest on Friday. Kind of nice to see that information. I love this by group report, and when we get to the reports training, you're going to see a lot more about that. I'm going to go back to point of sale real quick, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you can get prior to posting. So one of the things would be your drawer reading. To see how things are going for the whole store, you could just say store totals and preview that. So you've got a running total of how that store is doing right now. Now, I just posted, so everything is 0 because I haven't activated any more drawers. But you would see a summary of what's going on right now, where your sales are, if you've got returns, and what kind of payments people are making, how they're paying. You can also do, under tickets, the edit list. So you could see, again, you may not want to see the items that are being sold. You may just want a pay code recap as of today, maybe a different document, maybe a specific store, and you could preview that, and it would give you the tickets, and at the bottom, it would show you a recap of the payments. There are so many reports in this system. We can't possibly go through all the reports, and when you get to the reports class, you'll hear us say, practice these reports, run these reports on your system, and see what you get. Because there's ways that once you find the exact report that you want, there's a way of saving it and naming it so that next month, if you run the same report, you just redo what you had. You just say, I want to pull this report that I named Joe last month. So you pull that up, and it gives you those same answers on that report, the same filters, the same things that you asked for before. So you don't have to rethink it. You don't have to re-enter any of that. You just pull up what was there. Okay, that is pretty much point of sale. So let's see what questions we have. Oops. What was the name of the software you used to create custom reports? That is Crystal Reports. I get that and the other stuff mixed up. So it's Crystal Reports. Anything else? Even if you want to ask about other parts of the software, that's fine. I will answer anything I can. Can you go over the customer loyalty? Exactly, yes. Let's see if we have loyalty set up here. I am going to pull up a customer that I think I probably have loyalty on. Loyalty is connected to the customer under this activity tab, and here's the program. Over here, it'll show you how many points they have earned so far. So if I go to the main menu, point of sale, and ticket, and I'm going to go through the touch screen again. What about a return that was initially paid with a credit card? When you do a return that was initially paid with a credit card, if you do it as a validated return, it will ask you if you want to put the dollar amount back on that same credit card, and it'll give you the last 4 digits of that credit card. That only happens, though, after those credit cards have settled. So it would probably need to be the next day, or you would need to go into your portal and settle that credit card right away and then come back and do it. Okay, we're going to do a real quick loyalty. I'm going to auto-activate it with $0 amount. So if I choose that customer that had the loyalty, I want to process their layaways. I know. So now if I want to see what their loyalty points are, I can go to the pay code and go to loyalty points, and it's saying I can't redeem them. So I probably have this set for specific items to be redeemed. Let's see if this is one of them. Now let's look at loyalty points. Yes. If I go to loyalty points on this customer, it tells me how many they have available, how many are eligible for this particular sale, my minimum that I'm allowed to use on a sale, and how much that is worth. My maximum and how much that is worth. Well, the maximum is however many points will pay off this ticket. So I have information about what they have available so far, and I can use those as a payment. If I don't want to use that many points, maybe he only wants to use 1,000. How did I get that again? Okay. I'm going to cancel this. Okay, I have my customer. I have an item. And now I go to pay, the payment type, and there's one called loyalty points. When I click on loyalty points, it gives me a review of what points this customer has. Now, if the customer doesn't want to use all those, I can put in how many they do want to use. He only wants to use $50 worth of it. I could say okay, and it says he paid that much in points, and I can take the rest of the money however he is paying. Can we prompt if they have greater than a number of points? Not really greater than a number of points. There is a way to put a little message at the top that says they have loyalty points, but it doesn't really tell you anything about that, how many they are allowed to use or any information like that. Mostly that going to that pay loyalty points area gives you the best detail on that. We can also, let's see, if I go here and okay, now I'm going to go to his Zoom. We can have it put up here under the Zoom what loyalty points they have available, I'm pretty sure, under Customize. Wow, my Customize comes up slow. Loyalty points balance. Let's do that. So now I've got it so that I can see how many points they have available on that Zoom screen. You can also have the receipt print, you know, how many points they earned today, how many points they redeemed today, and their loyalty point balance, overall balance on their receipt if you want them to. They can earn points on the items that are on this ticket that they're not redeeming for, such as that one I just did. He bought some merchandise. He only redeemed 1,000 points. So everything over that earned some points. And you set this up. You set up how you want the points earned and redeemed during setup. So when we go through setup with you, if you know how you want your loyalty to work, yes, it deducts for the, it says, will they lose points for items they return? Yes. When you return an item, it will clear, it'll put those points, it'll put them back. If they returned and earned, it takes that off of there. They're returning an item that they purchased, so they don't earn points on things they return. It deducts that many. Yay! Yes, we don't want them earning a bunch of points and then returning everything and then still being able to use those points. We're not giving away the store today. Okay, we're going to close that. Close that. Oh, well, good. I'm glad we found something that you like and that the system does that your current one does not. Because you could end up giving the store away if you. It is, let's see. I know they earn right away. They earn, when they're buying something, those points go to their points balance right away. So I believe when they do a return, it would deduct from their points balance as well. But let me do a test on that. Let me check on that. Okay. Any other questions? Also, let me pull this over here. Also, it would let the cashier know they have attained that amount of points. Yeah, in that either in that Zoom or under the loyalty point redemption part of the pay codes, they would see. And I want to make sure that it's kept up to date even before posting. I just want to check on that for certain, and I'll let you know. You can, when you set up your point program, you say how much they have to have before they can use them. Yeah, if you set it up so that they have to have a certain number of points before they can use them, then the cashier would know right away that they can't use points. They would be prompted that they don't have enough. Anything else? Store credit. Very good. Very good question. We're going to go over a store credit. I'm going to say okay to this cash customer, and I'm going to say this cash customer is doing a return. We'll do a validated return. It doesn't really matter. Find ticket, and we're going to take this one. And we can say, maybe we could write a script that if they have that number of points, it creates an auto note for the cashier to check. Interesting. I would imagine something can be written to kind of prompt the cashier to let her know. Okay, so we're going to say that they're returning this one item. But we're not giving them money back for this. We don't give cash back. So there is something called a store credit that we would say we're giving them back a store credit for this amount. Right over here, we have one called store credit. So I'm going to choose that. I'm going to auto-assign the store credit. Some people use a gift card for a store credit, so they might already have a number on that gift card, and then they could just scan it right in there. And we say okay, and that's the amount, so okay. And this is what we're giving them in a store credit. Now mine might be just set up to print a ticket or a receipt that says it's a store credit. Or you might be using some sort of a gift card, or even some other type of gift, maybe like a certificate or something. So I'm going to close this. Now, later on, that customer comes in and buys something and wants to use that store credit. So I just choose an item. Let's choose this one. This is the item they're purchasing, and now I have to tell it how they're paying, and they're paying with a store credit. So what I can do is look up the store credit, and I can find it either they have a number on a gift card or a receipt or whatever. I can, we can have expiration dates on them. I'm going to see if there's an issue date on here. Issue date. Okay. So now what I can do is sort this descending, and I'll get that one from earlier right here. And I say, okay, that's the store credit. It shows me what ticket it was issued on and to the which customer, the issue date, the original amount, and what is left, because they might have used part of it, but it keeps track of how much is left. So I can say okay here, and if they only wanted to use $100 of that store credit, we could put in 100 and say okay, and take the balance in something else. And we're done with that. And if they come in later for another item and they want to use some of that store credit, we can look it up, or if they have the, I didn't save that. If they have the number, you can type in the number. I don't tend to save these because I like to show these different options when I'm training. So I show everybody how I can add a column and sort. So it lets me know this is how much is left on it. Can store credit be attached directly to a specific customer? Yes, it can. Let me cancel this, and I'm going to cancel this. And let's say I'm doing a return. I'm just doing a basic return now, and I'm going to do okay. So now I'm going to issue a store credit. Store credit. And I'm auto-assigning the number. What it's going to do, it's going to be associated with the customer up here. So whatever customer is on this ticket is who that store credit is going to go to. Let me close this. Now let's put an item up here. And let's pretend we're paying with the store credit. When I do a lookup, I can say who the customer is. A customer name in here somewhere. Oh, issued to. So here it shows the customer that it was issued to. I said customer number here. Issued to apparently comes up with customer number as well. So yes, you can, if whatever customer is up here is who the store credit is going to go to. Okay. Anything else? Okay. I really love the questions you guys ask because I know then that you're awake, that's for sure. And they are very good questions. Sometimes doing this the way we do it, it's hard to tell if everybody's even awake. What happens if you try to apply a credit from one customer to a ticket for another customer? It'll let you choose, but it is associated with the customer. And that's one reason why you probably want to give them something, either a written gift certificate or a gift card or whatever, because then if they want someone else to use it for them, they have the card with them. If they don't want someone else to use it, you might require that they have that card or the receipt or whatever. But a receipt that says store credit on it is too easy to lose. So let me show you, if I choose a customer, different customer, and I'm going to choose an item. and I'm going to go to pay code, and I'm going to choose store credit. I'm going to do a lookup, and again, yes, it shows the wrong stuff here. I didn't save all that information, and that's okay. So I'm actually going to go way down towards the bottom. And I have this customer up here, but I'm going to choose the one for cash customer. I can choose the one for 1,000. It doesn't matter. And say OK. Tells me how much is okay, left on it. I say OK, and it still lets me use that. It just has a customer associated with it. Okay. Not ideal. You're right, but it depends on what your policy is going to be. You might even, if somebody comes in with a store credit, you may require that they show a driver's license, something like that. If you give them, if you want them to be able to use someone else's store credit, if maybe dad has a store credit here and his daughter wants to buy something, he says, here, just use this store credit. Do you want them to be allowed to do that? So you have to kind of think, how limited do you want to make it? How much do you want the customer to be able to be, give it to someone else or worry about it being stolen from them? So it's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of thought that has to go into it. And if you want to require something at the time of a store credit being used, you could require a driver's license or something like that. I don't know. It's one of those things where darned if you do and darned if you don't. You know, somebody's going to yell at you if you take a store credit that belongs to someone else, or they're going to yell at you if you won't take the store credit that they gave to someone else. So, yeah, kind of stuck in the middle on that one. Anything else? Well, I don't see any other questions popping up, so I suppose we could end this then. And then if you come up with any more questions, I believe there's a class tomorrow, so you can ask them during that. Or, once again, you can email us and get questions answered as well. All right. That's going to be it for today. Thank you for joining me. And I think I'm in probably Thursday's class. Thank you. Thank you all. I've really enjoyed working with you. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Bye now.